Classified testimony, Dr. Owen Khalid. Geological Survey Incident / Mount Kilimanjaro / February 2026. Subject status: missing, presumed lost. Last known location: subsurface cavity, 840 m below Kibo summit. Recovery attempts: 3, all failed. Transmission source: emergency beacon / duration, 18 hours. Classification level: redacted. Audio transcript follows. They're not letting me leave the chamber. I need to say this while I still understand language the way you do. The cavity we found 3 weeks ago wasn't geological. It was architectural. And whatever built it has been waiting inside this mountain for longer than our species has existed. My name is Dr. Owen Khalid. I was lead geologist for the East African Rift Survey project. Was past tense. Because the man who descended into Kilimanjaro 22 days ago isn't the same consciousness trying to speak these words now. I'm recording this on my emergency transmitter because the 5 others who came down here with me are no longer capable of human speech. They're standing in the dark, facing the walls, and I can hear them breathing in perfect synchronization, 4.7-second intervals, like they've become parts of a single organism. The anomaly appeared on our deep penetrating radar on January 9th. A void. Perfectly hemispherical. 340 meters in diameter, positioned 840 meters below Kibo's summit along the mountain's central vertical axis. The symmetry was impossible. Natural chambers don't hold symmetry like that. My supervisor, Dr. Elena Varga, insisted it was an equipment malfunction. We ran the survey 8 more times. Same result. Same dimensions. Same depth. On January 15th, we brought in a seismic array to confirm the void geometry and acoustic instrumentation to test signal return. The cavity wasn't just empty. It was silent. Our equipment registered signal transmission but detected 0 acoustic return. Sound entered that space and nothing came back. We weren't supposed to go inside. The Tanzanian government classified the site within hours of our report. But funding appeared. Private funding. The kind that doesn't ask questions and doesn't file paperwork. They flew in drilling equipment, a descent team, atmospheric sensors. I should have recognized the urgency as fear. They knew something. They'd found others. We broke through on February 3rd at 11:47 a.m. local time. The drill bit punched into nothing, dropped 6 meters before the cable caught. No rock dust. No debris. Just a hole opening into perfect darkness. The atmospheric sensor registered breathable air. Temperature, 18.3 degrees Celsius. Humidity, 34%. And a pulse. Frequency, 0.08 Hz. Below human hearing, but you could feel it in your sternum. Regular. Eternal. I went down first. Me, Varga, and 4 others. Dr. Benjamin Cross, mineralogist, Isaac Ndlovu, structural engineer, Dr. Mirai Sato, archaeologist, yes, they brought an archaeologist, and Rachel Frost, military observer who never explained which military. 6 of us on a winch platform, descending through solid rock that had been drilled away, then through empty space that smelled like ozone and something else. Something organic and old. The inner walls appeared at 70 meters. Not rock. Not metal. A material that absorbed light completely but reflected our headlamps as deep violet. Smooth. Seamless. And covered in patterns. Sato started crying immediately. She said they were symbols. A writing system. But the longer you looked, the more they seemed to move, rearranging themselves into configurations that hurt to perceive. I looked away. Cross didn't. He's one of the ones standing against the wall now. We reached the floor at 11:52 a.m. 5 minutes of descent into a space that shouldn't exist. The chamber was exactly as the radar showed. Hemispherical, vast, empty except for the structure at its center. The ark. That's what Sato called it. A vessel. Cylindrical, approximately 80 meters long, 20 meters in diameter, hovering 3 meters above the ground with nothing supporting it. No propulsion. No cables. Just hanging in the air like gravity had filed an exception for this one object. The surface was the same light-absorbing material as the walls, but textured. Organic. It looked grown, not built. And it was humming. That 0.08 Hz pulse was coming from inside. Frost immediately tried to establish a perimeter. Said we should wait for additional assets. But Ndlovu was already approaching with his scanner, measuring EM emissions, gravitational distortions. The readings made no sense. The ark wasn't just hovering. It was anchored to something we couldn't detect. A point in space that wasn't space. He said it was like the object existed partially in our dimension and partially somewhere else, and the boundary between was leaking. We found the entrance on the southern face. Not a door. An aperture. Circular, 4 meters across, opening into an interior that our lights couldn't penetrate. The darkness inside was absolute. Active. It moved toward our lamps like it was curious. Varga made the call. We go in. Document everything. Retreat if conditions deteriorate. I was third through the aperture behind Frost and Ndlovu. The transition was instantaneous and wrong. One step I was in the chamber, next step I was inside the ark, but the geometry didn't connect. The interior was vast. Impossibly vast. We'd entered a cylinder 20 meters wide, but the space around us extended hundreds of meters in all directions. The walls curved away at angles that shouldn't exist, meeting at points that were somehow both distant and close enough to touch. And it wasn't empty. The cargo. Rows of them. Hundreds. Maybe thousands. Vertical cylinders, 3 meters tall, made of transparent material filled with amber fluid. And inside each one a figure. Humanoid. Roughly our proportions. But wrong in ways that made your brain skip trying to process them. Too many joints in the limbs. Faces with features that shifted depending on viewing angle. Skin that looked solid and liquid simultaneously. They weren't moving. But they weren't dead either. Suspended. Waiting. Sato approached the nearest cylinder. Placed her hand against the surface. The fluid inside responded. Began to swirl slowly like it recognized touch. The figure's eyes opened. All 7 of them. Arranged in a spiral pattern across what might have been a head. They focused on Sato. She started speaking. Not words. A sound. Harmonic. Beautiful. Wrong. She hasn't stopped since. That's when the lighting changed. The walls began to emit a pale luminescence, green-white, pulsing in rhythm with that infrasonic heartbeat. And we saw what was beyond the cylinders. The walls of the interior were covered in panels. Millions of them. Each one showing something. Star charts. Biological diagrams. Mathematical equations using symbols that predated human numerals. Ndlovu recognized sequences he'd only seen in theoretical physics papers. Proofs that shouldn't exist yet. Solutions to problems humanity was still working on. He stopped looking after 30 seconds. Said it was making his head hurt. We were inside a library. An archive. A seed bank for civilizations. Frost grabbed her radio. Started calling for extraction. No response. Just static, and underneath it, that harmonic sound Sato was making, transmitted through the rock somehow like the mountain was singing. Cross had moved deeper into the Arkansas. He was standing in front of a larger cylinder, easily 10 meters tall. The figure inside was different. Larger. More complex. Its body seemed to have internal structures that moved independently, organs or machines or something between. And it was watching him. All of us. Through the fluid, through the transparent material, through closed eyelids that weren't eyelids. It was aware. Ndlovu's scanner started screaming. Radiation spike. Not nuclear. Something else. He called it dimensional bleed. Said the boundary between here and wherever this thing came from was weakening. The ark was waking up. That's when Varga made the second call. The wrong call. She touched one of the panels. The ark responded. The hum became a roar. The floor beneath us shifted, rotated, reconfigured. The cylinders began to glow. And the figures inside started to move. Slowly. Deliberately. Testing their suspended animation, finding it acceptable, settling back into stillness. All except the large one. It kept moving. Kept watching. A sound came from everywhere at once. Not words. Information. Transmitted directly into our heads. A message. A warning. A greeting. I can't separate them. The meaning was layered, multidimensional. But fragments translated. You have been cataloged. You are within parameters. Preservation protocols active. Await next cycle. Frost started shooting. Her sidearm made pathetic popping sounds in that vast space. The rounds hit the large cylinder. Passed through it. Struck the wall behind. The wall absorbed them like water accepting rain. The figure inside smiled. Or something that served the same function as a smile for a face that had no mouth. We ran. All of us except Sato. She stayed, hand against the cylinder, making that sound. We grabbed her, pulled her away. She fought. Ndlovu had to carry her. We made it back to the aperture. The darkness that had been curious before was now hungry. It reached for us. Frost fired again. The muzzle flash illuminated something in the dark. Shapes. Moving. Following us. Not the figures from the cylinders. Something else. The ark's immune system, maybe. Or its curiosity made manifest. We fell through the aperture. Back into the chamber. The ark was still humming but louder now, vibrating. The walls of the chamber were responding, their symbols rearranging faster, cycling through configurations. Varga was screaming into her radio. Ndlova was checking his scanner. Off the scale. He said the ark was broadcasting. A signal. Outward. Into space. And inward. Into the earth. We reached the descent platform. Hit the emergency ascent. The winch engaged. We rose 15 meters. Then stopped. The cable had caught on something. No, not caught. Held. By something in the darkness above us. We could hear it breathing. Plural breathing. Multiple sources. Synchronized. The ark opened. Not the aperture. The entire southern face split apart like a flower blooming, revealing the interior, the cylinders, the figures, all of them watching now, all of them aware. And from deep within, movement. The large figure was leaving its cylinder. The amber fluid drained. It stepped out. To 9 meters tall. And began to walk toward us. Frost cut the cable. We dropped. Hit the floor. Art. Cross's leg shattered. He didn't scream. Just stared at the ark, smiling. Said he finally understood. Said they'd been waiting. Said we were late. We ran. Dragged Cross. Made it to the drill shaft. Started climbing. Hand over hand. Emergency ladder bolted into the rock. 840 meters to surface. We climbed for what felt like hours. The first 100 meters went fast, adrenaline driving us upward. At the halfway point, Sato stopped. Said she needed to go back. Said they were calling her. She let go. Fall. We heard her land. Then we heard her speaking in that harmonic language and something else answering. We continued climbing. Past the halfway mark. Then 3/4. Ndlova's nose started bleeding. Then his ears. He said the signal was inside his head. Said it was showing him things. Other places. Other times. Other versions of Earth, cataloged, preserved, stored in cylinders like specimens. He said we were a backup. A redundancy. In case the original failed. Within sight of the surface. Less than 100 meters remaining. We could see sunlight. Varga was laughing. Crying. Saying we'd make it. Saying we'd report this. Saying someone needed to know. No. The drill shaft sealed. Above us. Rock flowing like water, filling the tunnel, cutting us off. Ndlova's scanner showed movement in the stone. Not seismic. Intentional. The mountain was responding to the ark's signal. The mountain was part of the system. We climbed down. No choice. Back to the chamber. Back to the Arkansas. It had closed again. The large figure was gone. Returned to its cylinder. But the others were active now. Not moving but aware. Watching. Waiting. That was 18 hours ago. We've been trying to find another way out. There isn't one. The walls don't respond to our tools. The drill equipment we brought is gone. Absorbed. The platform, our gear, our samples. All gone. The chamber is clean now. Just us and the ark. Varga stopped speaking 6 hours ago. She's standing against the western wall, facing it, breathing in sync with the others. Ndlova joined her 3 hours later. His final words were coordinates. Latitude and longitude pairs. Hundreds of them. I didn't write them down. Cross was first. Frost tried to use her weapon to end it before the transformation completed. The trigger wouldn't respond. Not jammed. It simply refused to function. An hour later, she walked to the wall, placed her hands against the symbols and went silent. I can feel it starting. The signal. It's not sound. It's presence. Awaiting your thoughts. Showing you things. The ark isn't a vessel. It's a seed. Planted by something that visited Earth during the Pliocene epoch, before humans, before most of what we consider modern life. They cataloged everything. Stored copies. And left the ark here, in the mountain, waiting for the planet to cycle through its epochs. To produce new forms, new consciousness, new possibilities to document. We're being added to the archive. I can feel the scanning. Not physical. Deeper. Like someone's reading every memory, every thought I've ever had, and filing them away for preservation. For study. For reproduction somewhere else, sometime else, when this earth is gone and they need to seed another. My hands are moving to the wall now. I'm not controlling them anymore. The breathing synchronization has started. 4.7 seconds. Inhale. Exhale. Matching the ark's pulse. Matching the others. If you're hearing this, don't come looking for us. Don't send rescue. Seal the drill shaft. Collapse it. Bury this mountain in concrete if you can. The ark is waking up fully. When it does, it won't just catalog. It will harvest. It will expand. It will do what it was designed to do. Preserve life by collecting it, storing it, and shipping it somewhere else. Somewhere we can't follow. The signal is beautiful. I understand why the others stopped fighting. It's showing me the archive. Billions of specimens. Billions of worlds. All ended. All preserved. All waiting. Earth is just one more. I'm at the wall now. My palms are against the symbols. They're warm. They're welcoming. Their transmission ends. Final note from recovery team. No survivors located. Chamber sealed by anomalous lithic closure. Remote excavation attempts via unmanned drilling resulted in equipment failure and signal loss. Site declared permanent exclusion zone. Remote instrumentation detects a continuous low-frequency oscillation at 840 m depth, 0.08 Hz, in both pressure and microseismic channels. Recommend no further investigation. Addendum March 2026. Similar pulse signatures detected in 6 additional volcanic sites across 3 continents. International survey authorization requested. Addendum April 2026. Authorization denied following a limited preliminary deployment that reported equipment losses and unexplained personnel disappearances at a secondary site. Full survey discontinued. Information suppressed by international agreement. Public inquiry forbidden. The pulse continues.